and welcome back to the Magic Kathy Show. It's been a minute that I had to drive to record an episode, and it just overcame me after this new moon, and gosh, all the energy that are being activated through it. It's a lot, but I'm gonna break it all down for you so you understand what this entire shift is all about. I mean, I said it before, July is a hot month, just because we have 2 full moons in Capricorn, and in sandwich between, obviously, we have the new moon in Cancer that we just digested. On top of that, we have a Sirius alignment. Not a Sirius alignment, well, it is a Sirius alignment. It's the alignment of the Sun and Sirius, the star constellation Sirius, which I will talk about because it's very significant for us to understand what this is all about and what it brings into our awareness, into our consciousness, into our bodies, into all of that. And then at the same time, we also have Venus being visible again, which is also a significant happening because it brings us back to last year, August, where we started something, where we received something, and now it's becoming more and more obvious and visible what that seed that we planted back then was all about. And that also all leads us into the 8-8 Lionsgate situation that we will have at some point soon. So as you can tell, there's a lot to talk about in this episode, and I am excited to dive in and to dig deep as always. If you enjoy these episodes, please leave a review on iTunes and share the episode with anyone who needs to hear everything that we are talking about, because we need to spread the message. We need to sprinkle it all over the world so people know what's going on and what the cuckoo is happening. And I want to call it a plot twist month, honestly, because I feel like my own life has been plot twisted again, and I'm like, is it eclipsing again? But we're also preparing, side note here, I'm going to talk probably in the next episode about it. We are preparing for a Mars-Uranus meeting in Taurus. So obviously when Uranus is in the mix, then we're always plot twisting our life in some sort of way, in unexpected ways. So it's been interesting. And last week we were in Gene Key 39, which is all about provocation. And I feel like what was really, and the provocation that leads to liberation. So what I've noticed was that it's your own higher self or spirit provoking you into an action or into a realization that leads to your liberation. But it's just this like, are you serious that I have to do this? Like, for real? But in my case, it was really not leaving me. The message came through so strongly and out of the blue, and I'm like, no, not really, like, not really. No, I can't do that. Like, no, come on, like, wait it out. Like, it's probably just, a mood or whatever, or wave. But I kid you not, it just didn't leave me up until I finally did the thing. And yeah, I'm like still digesting that I'm actually doing this, that I'm actually, jumping, and like I've never done that before in this way. So it's been really interesting. I will probably fill you in on all of that soon. But yeah, I was basically not really sure what to do on my birthday, which is obviously Lionsgate, or August 10th, but anyways. And all I kept receiving when I got that message was, you won't be in Dubai. Like, you won't be in Dubai. And I'm like, okay, but where else do I go? Do I go to Germany for a few days? Do I go there? Yeah. But everything just felt like I'm just going somewhere to be somewhere else. And then out of the blue, it was just this like, go to Bali. And I got all of these synchronicities. And I wanted to go to Bali for a long time and never really went. And it never really aligned. And there was always something happening. And now I have these 10 days just where I wanted to bridge the gap somehow. And like, I want to do something cool for my birthday. And Bali came through, and I'm like, no, I can't go there, I've never been. And I don't know, it made me realize how in the past, like 4 years ago, when I started all of the, my entire like journey and like travels and all of the things, I was so fearless. And I would always follow these unexplainable hunches of my soul leading me to Sedona, to Mount Shasta, to, just like book the flight and go to the States, book the flight and go to Mexico, just go and go to South Africa. And I did all of that, and it always led me to so much magic. And something somehow happened. I guess it was mostly because of my health, where I just didn't allow myself to follow that anymore, because my mind was telling me that it's not safe, that I shouldn't do that it's not responsible, yada yada yada. And I realized that that's probably the error, the blockage in my own sense of security and safety in myself, where my spirit sends you messages, and maybe that's something that you can apply to your own situation. Spirit sends you these messages and lets you clearly know that this is the path to go, but you're not doing it because you're doubting it. You're not trusting that you will be supported, and you're not trusting that it will work out. And so you're basically rejecting your own inner guidance all the time. And that's why you feel unsafe and insecure and like have a lack of trust in yourself, because you keep getting these messages and guidances, but you don't follow because you don't trust it. And then you have to rely on the external, or you feel frustrated and you don't know why. And so I realized that at some point, I don't even know when that happened, I fell into this pattern, and I lost my fearlessness, I lost my courage, I lost that anchor and connection, and that safe, clear knowing that if I follow the intuition and the intuitive hunches of my spirit, it will always work out and always leads to magic. And when I was asking, like, what is it that I have to do, like next step and everything, I also received that clear message that I have to go in a way back to trusting that again, to trusting myself again, and trusting my own path and connection to spirit and wherever it leads me, because that's following the flow of nature. And I feel like a lot of us, because of the energy that we have been digesting and been through over the last 4 years specifically, have become very cautious of trusting life, because everything we see outside, even if we don't pay attention, there is this energy of mistrust and of the world is not safe around us, even stronger than before. And also highlighted by these sudden things that happen and our nervous system being fried. And so we are extra cautious with everything because so many unexpected things were happening. So it's very normal for us to prepare for like anything and be like very much like cautious, like cautious with money, cautious with reckless decisions, cautious. But cautiousness doesn't really lead us anywhere. So I really feel that it's this new moon in Cancer, and then Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Pisces, it's spirit really letting us know, hey, it's safe to trust your inner guidance. It's safe to trust your inner GPS, and you actually have to go back to that. That's the safety and security in yourself and that you need for the world. And it's very connected with this whole dismantling of the Capricorn structure that we are also going through with these double full moons in Capricorn sandwiched. But it's very provoking because it's calling you out on these patterns where you block your own guidance, where you block your own spirit. And so if you realize that, then there's also this moment of truth where you're like, fuck, now I have to do it in a different way again. And I have to actually be bold and courageous, not in Aries, and go and just see. Worst thing that happens is, Am I gonna die? No, you know. So when I was sitting with, you know, that entire, I mean, to some people it might not feel like the big of a deal going to Bali for 10 days, right? But it was just like everything that it brought up about safety, about, you know, realizing these old patterns and realizing, you know, how, yeah, I'm holding myself back, I'm restricting my own desires, I'm questioning my desires. I'm like, so much that came to the surface around, is it really necessary? Do I really need it? You know, yada yada yada. Do I just sit it out? But it's just like when spirit is calling you out and you just have to go and you just have to do it, and it doesn't make sense. You're like in for a surprise. So I'm gonna obviously let you know what it will be all about for me. But yeah, it was very interesting to have these realizations, and really exhausting, because the monkey mind and yeah, the brain really going overdrive. Usually when you go out of your comfort zone, it's your mind is even louder, you know, it's like so screaming at you. And that was also coinciding with, you know, we have a lot of planets moving into Leo this month, and I want to talk about that. I actually talked about that in our new moon circle. And whenever these planets are moving into Leo, so we start with Mercury, then we have Venus, and we have Mars in moving into Leo, and instantly they will form an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. And that's very important, because it means that, you know, the energy of Leo, which is courageous, heart open, you know, all of that, like the warrior fire energy, right? So there could be courage in your brain, and like courage in your thoughts, courage and yes, I'm gonna do this. But then this opposition with Pluto at the same time calls you out if there are still things that you need to transform in your thinking, in your boldness around your thoughts and your thought patterns. So it's like we get this boost of courage, and then it's this test of like, really, you know, or are you maybe, you know, are there still things that hold you back? And so it's very interesting to see that confrontation. It will first happen in obviously our thinking, so the brain, then it will happen with Venus and with Mars, so also in our values, in our worth, into, you know, all of these things, what we want to create, but then also how we take action if we are bold around that. So it's gonna be an interesting July still, obviously. So let's see. And then obviously July will end with the second full moon in Capricorn. There's this conjunct Pluto. So we see that there's this soul transformation story happening at the moment. And all I can say is that it's really important to be bold and to set that new time frame, and not time frame, that new template for yourself, to act from courage, to act from, you know, that fire, North Node in Aries, and to not let any past stories or past things, you know, Capricorn is past, and the South Node in Libra, it's all about the past connections and relationships and things like that. Don't let all of that hold you back, because you are new. You know, like the history is like not even your story. It's like someone else's story that you are not even, that's not even you anymore. And if you have received some message, some guidance, something where you're like, I can't do this, like it's like, that's, oh my gosh, maybe you can. Maybe, you know, the old version of you was not the person to do it, but the new version of you is the person to do it. So do it, you know, just try it out and see if what happens. Like, we need that energy of Aries and Leo, which also has so much to do with just curiosity and excitement, playfulness, you know, not making it such a big deal and so serious. Just go and try it out, you know, do and see what it does to you, you know, just being more spontaneous and having more courage to follow these spontaneous hunches as well, because that's the way even the new children and our new paradigm will be come 2027, which is all about, you know, the raves and that instinctive, more splenic approach to life, where it's like, I have this instinct, I have this impulse, like, let me just see where it leads me, and then see where next, not planning so much. Again, we move out of the cross of planning, right? And, that Capricorn paradigm is just dying away, which means no planning, time is dying too. Like, it's just like, don't be so controlling anymore. And saying that to myself as a Capricorn moon, it's not easy, I know, but it ultimately will really set us free into actualizing our truest and fullest potential. So yeah, I'm excited to do that, and to embody that and to walk the talk here too. It's not easy and definitely confronting, but my main message here is to really give you that boost of courage for whatever Spirit wanted you to do, and is showing you what you need to do in order to find that safety, security, and stability in yourself again, trust yourself again, is to unapologetically follow these hunches, whatever they may be. And if they don't make sense to the outside world, they don't have to make sense to the outside world, because everyone has their unique fractal, their unique piece, their unique contribution, their unique path. And we need to trust that, because that forms the entire full picture of creation. And if you don't do where the flow wants you to go, or what the flow wants you to do, then there's something missing in creation, or in the orchestration of creation. So that would be obviously sad, and we need you in your fractal, and we need you in your role, I want to say, And even for me, I was like, maybe I have to go to Bali just to sprinkle my energy in there. And it's not about the actual human going there and me seeing stuff. So and I know that I do a lot of grid work on the planet. I work with astrophotography as well. And so I know that I'm usually sent to places as well to do that. So I'm like, okay, maybe the land now needs me for whatever reason. But yeah, you will see. I'm going to share, obviously. If you have any tips or want to share something about Bali, then please DM me on Instagram, Magic Cathy Official. I'm happy for all the recommendations. I'm like, am I really doing this? And then I'm like, why are you asking this? When did you become so afraid? That's not you. So I really realized where I'm like, wait a second, I used to be so spontaneous and so what happened to me, And so going back to my nature here with this new moon in Cancer. It felt really good though. It feels really good. And I'm so done with this whole monkey mind, overthinking things and over dramatizing things. I'm like, okay, wait a second. That's really not you. What happened to you again? And maybe you have something in your life where you're like, fuck yeah, that's not me. Why did I let that burden me so much? What happened to me, And then it's just peeling that layer out of you and being like, no, that's not me anymore. No longer, I'm not going to accept that in my reality, as I like to say. And yeah, I would love to hear what it is, because this energy is really an important stepping stone even into December, which I go more into detail when you are I invite you to watch the video about the double full moon, because it's also connected to December, but then also we had Neptune stationing retrograde with Venus, and Venus became visible again now with the new moon, and is exactly opposite the Saturn-Pluto conjunction point of 2020. So there's this story coming up. Venus becoming visible, I almost forgot to say that because I teasered it in the beginning, means that the Venus star point we had in August last year, that was in the underworld, so to speak, for us to be digested, for us to realize, okay, what is it, the Venus star point in Leo, that we really have to do and to create and to cultivate in terms of our values, self-worth, creative endeavors, how we use our inner fire, what ignites our soul essentially, and how do we allow that to manifest. And now that she became visible in Cancer, exactly opposite the Saturn-Pluto conjunction point, there's this this is not just for you, it's for the entire planet. It's the new structure and foundation of the world if you do the very thing that you have to do. And if you don't, then, the foundation has cracks and it's not whole. So it's not selfish to go down that path. It's actually something we do for the collective. And Venus will then be in a conjunction with Pluto, and she will first be in an opposition next week. Then she will be in a conjunction with Pluto in December, when we have the Neptune retrograde in Pisces ending. So there's this whole story around Neptune and, our dreams, our desires, and, what we receive from spirit. I always like to say that whenever I block my own desires. Desire itself, the word, is Greek, and means from source, from spirit, from God. So you only get the electrical impulse of a desire from God to move you into a specific direction. So how could you question that or doubt that or not allow yourself to have it, That's instinct, it's desire, it's this electrical force that wants to move you towards probably something that you asked for, So these dreams that are being planted in your heart also come from source and from spirit. And why should we then be afraid of following them and pursuing them, or not allow ourselves to do that, right? And usually what blocks us is the mind that has some sort of story or agenda or reason why it's not safe or why it's not good or whatever, And so we gotta change that approach to life, because it doesn't just harm us, it also harms creation and the expansion of creation. So yeah, because it only harms us and it harms the expansion of creation and everything, basically. So we can't do that, right? So please, I have an invitation for you, or an appel to you, like however you want to say that. Follow whatever that hunch is. And if you don't do it now, I can assure you it's not going to leave you. It's this thing that you just can't stop thinking about. That dream, that desire where you're just like, I got to do it. Like, I'm afraid, but I know it has to be done. And I've talked to a few of you, and you said the same thing, that there's this hunch where it's like, gosh, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this, but you just know you got to do it. You just have to show up for it. And it's confronting, as I said it, provoking, right, with being key 39. But it leads to liberation, because that's the city of 39. So if you want to share whatever came up for you, please let me know. Interestingly enough, a lot of people are asking me at the moment for astrocartography. So I feel like there's also this pull from the earth to reshuffle the cards and, move us into new directions, which is very interesting. So if you have the urge to move, or you feel this like itching, or you would like to know where your energy might be needed, or which energy of the world would, be more beneficial for you right now in this moment for your next steps, then reach out for astrocartography reading. It's the astrology of places, where you can see, why you are being called to specific places, maybe, or which place might have some sort of energetic benefit for you and your intention. So it's very, very magical to work with the earth like that, and see how it transforms you. I mean, I know whenever I've been to my Venus line, for example, such wild things were happening. And I mean, Dubai is an interesting place. It's my Saturn ascendant and Pluto midheaven. There's always transformation and confrontation. It's always like this love-hate relationship, as you can tell. And now I'm moving to Bali. I mean, I go to Bali. I'm not moving there. I'm moving there. Maybe I move there because it has my moon Uranus and Neptune, but midheaven line. So very interesting, because moon, Uranus, Neptune, I have in New York, and that's my soul city. So it's similar planets, but different angle. So I'm really curious to see how that affects how I feel about Bali, what I like about Bali, and how it might be different from New York. So I will fill you in on that. And if you would like to explore that for yourself, let me know. Magic Kathy official on Instagram, obviously, where you can find me. I will put the links down below also as well. And if you would like a breakthrough session to help you through any limiting beliefs or any fogginess around your intuition and clarity around that, then message me as well. info@abracadabrababy.de for breakthrough session, or again, Magic Kathy official on Instagram, you know where you can find me. And it's a really powerful time from 7/7 to 8/8 with the Sirius Gateway, Sirius alignment. I haven't even talked about that. Gosh, it's all about us receiving higher wisdom and downloads and codes into our cellular DNA as well, for why we are humans in this human space suits in the first place. That's the best way I can put it in a nutshell. If you would like to hear more about that, let me know. But with all of that being said, I'm going to wrap it up now and let you follow your Dharma and let you share what your Dharma is all about, so I can know that too. I'm excited to hear from you. Please spread the word for the episode, and also give me some feedback if you enjoyed it and what your main takeaways were, because that's, you know, fuels my soul and my heart. I love doing that. And yeah, I hope to hear from you soon. And until then, please be courageous and step in your magic.